We make a mess in the kitchen.
We do.
And if you make a mess in
Especially
the kitchen, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Handle that later. You eat the food
later.
first. Eat the food first, clean up
Then
later.
worry about the mess later.
Yeah, worry about the mess later. Okay, send that over there. Okay, so here we are again.
Here we are again.
On what are we doing now?
We are gonna make a beef stew.
Beef stew.
Beef stew, because it's cold out and people need something warm to eat.
I think I'm with Kayla on this one. Cold,
yeah, cold
February day here in New England, and soups are known throughout. I mean, like in cold climates. So these soups and broths and things you run into with like the beef stew and very hearty meals, something that'll get you through the winter. And this is usually New Englanders eat. It's what I love. You love beef stew, right?
I do.
I mean, you're kind of a big deal. We spent probably about a half an hour preparing everything for you guys today.
Basically, yeah.
So we're gonna make it a little bit easier. We're just gonna show you the ingredients and how you put them in. We're also gonna cook today with the crock pot. Okay?
Right over there.
Yeah, crock pot. So when we talk about a beef stew, we're talking about a building of the flavors. So when we build a dish, it's like building a building. You build flavors into it, and then they all resonate. They all come together somehow. With the crock pot, the pressure actually pushes everything into the meat and really gives it a great flavor. And because it doesn't take 3 hours, it takes about an hour and a half. So a little bit shorter time. So we're not gonna braise, we're not gonna do any of that stuff. And Kayla did the potatoes.
I did the potatoes, take full credit.
Yeah. And how about the onions? I mean, you had a little
A little bit of difficulty with the
a
onions.
little difficulty. You'll cry a little bit, but you didn't cry a little bit.
Oh my god, it came at me like hot and heavy. Like
Hot and
if
heavy.
you know, you know. Hot and heavy.
You were kind of sweating there when you were cutting the onions, and I was like, okay,
I was welling up with
right
tears.
now?
You were thinking I was going to have a breakdown.
So you did all the potatoes, we did all the prep.
Potatoes.
So the potatoes, the onions, the carrots.
Carrots.
I'm not adding peas because I don't like peas, okay? If you like peas, throw the peas in there. You can get like a frozen bag or a can. It doesn't matter. You can do peas if you want, but it's not something I'd recommend.
Whatever floats your boat.
We have all the ingredients here. So we have the paprika, we have the flour, we have the salt, we have the bay leaves. We have a little bit of starch too. A little bit of starch. And the starch we're gonna make, because it makes it a little bit thicker. So we're gonna add a little bit of that starch to it too. On this one here, we have a little bit of tomato paste. We have a little bit of oil. And we have a little bit of vinegar. So vinegar, what that does, it helps break down that meat a little bit quicker, and it also adds a little bit of resonance in that flavor. So that's the ingredients for the beef stew. Including here, you have the red wine. So you want to use a dry red wine, and then you also want to use a beef stock. And then Kayla is going to be doing. Why don't we talk about this, Kayla? Why don't you talk about this what we have over here?
All right, so what we have over here is a setup of how to make garlic bread. So we have the stick of butter right here, we have the cheese right here, and the garlic powder right here. So we're going to be doing that.
And what type of bread? What type of bread do we use on that? It's the baguette, right?
Call it baguette.
Yeah, the baguette, the French baguette. So French Canadian and New England cooking are very much alike. Hunters, trappers, they would eat meat. So they would eat meat, they'd eat fowl, they'd eat bird, stuff like that. Those are the hunters who they do. They used to carve things in stone. They used to carve out bowls in stone and put fire in it, and then empty the fire out, and then put all the stuff that they caught, whether it's squirrel, chipmunk, the cow, whatever. They throw it in there and they cook it. We're not cooking squirrel or cow.
No, though I will say I am French Canadian. Prince Edward Island.
Oh, okay.
Prince Edward Island, baby.
There you go.
So what we're going to be doing today is all French Canadian.
All French Canadian. So we're talking about French Canadian influence, New England food, and let's get right to the actual beef. Okay? We're going to use the crock pot. Pop that baby open. And Kayla, what I want you to do is I want you to throw some of that back fat that we cut down and throw that in there first. So let's lay it on the bottom.
All right, so back fat right here.
Yep, that's some back fat. So I cut a bunch of pieces with a little bit of back fat. And you don't want to get rid of that. That's where all your flavor resides. So you want to throw that. I like to throw it a little bit on the bottom, because what happens is that bottom is where the heat is, with that crock pot, and that stuff just melts. That's a huge piece of meat. That ain't coming out. This is also what we would talk about when we were cutting the meat, Kayla.
Cutting the meat. All right.
Tons of meat.
Tons of meat.
If you're making a beef stew, make it a beef stew, okay?
can't have this beef stew without the beef. You just can't.
Right. Where's the beef?
Here's the beef. There's the beef. I was making that reference all
So
day.
we got a layer of beef. We're gonna layer this. So I also got a little bit of chopped garlic here. We're gonna throw the chopped garlic in, right? Why don't you throw in the paprika, the vinegar, the oil? You have to throw the whole cup right in there. Spread it right out. It'll come right out. A little bit more garlic. We're gonna save some of this garlic for the garlic bread too.
Alright.
Because there's nothing better than real garlic, right? I mean, it's not in the powder form. It's fresh. It's cut. You throw that right in. That's a little vinegar. Now I used a balsamic vinegar where they list like a regular vinegar. I think it gives it a little bit more flavor, a little more taste. We'll have you add the oil.
Oil.
Yep, oil.
Right here. Yep.
And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some of these potatoes.
Potatoes.
Now potatoes, you want starchy potatoes, so they're gonna be the brown potatoes. You can use red potatoes, you can do whatever you want. Listen, this show is gonna be do it however you like it. You know what I'm saying? You can add and subtract whatever you want. So all those potatoes. Then to stick some more meat in there, Kayla.
Meat.
Yep, keep going with the meat. Stick another layer of meat. And then I love carrots, all right? So carrots, absolute must. You can carve these carrots up for yourself, or what you can do is just get baby carrots. Makes it a little bit easier, man. We gotta like peel all these carrots and do all that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
No, that's a mess. That's a mess.
No
You're a mess, I'm a mess. It's no good. It's a
Aren't
mess.
we all?
No, this is how much I love carrots, okay? Let's just go with the carrots, okay?
Carrots, yeah.
We like carrots. So put some more meat in there on the top.
Top. Go. Put some meat up there. Look at that beautiful meat. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
We're gonna take a little bit of salt. Throw a little salt in there too. And the beauty of the pressure cooker is this stuff's gonna just like all melt down into one. We're gonna add a couple of bay leaves in there. And the bay leaves are gonna come out later on. Same thing with the rosemary. Again, that's just for the flavoring, and that comes out later on. And use the fresh rosemary.
Fresh rosemary. Yeah.
Fresh rosemary.
I took a whiff of that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Most beautiful scent.
I wish you could smell this rosemary.
Yeah, I wish you could
think
smell
it's-
it. Yeah.
I think maybe you can smell
God.
as good as these sunflowers.
Yeah, let me see.
Think so?
It smells like summer.
Yeah, it's a smell of summer. That's what you want in the winter. You want to have that memory of, hey, I remember I was doing the summer. I'm gonna add a little bit of
You gotta
oregano.
think warm. Think warm.
Think warm.
Think warm.
Absolutely think warm. So here we're gonna get rid of all these.
Alright.
And then we also have a tomato. So this is a tomato paste, so that's a thickening agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have you add that in there. And you're gonna use this little floppy type of knife thing there to get it in there. Floppy.
Floppy. Alright, there we go. Get a little nook and cranny out of there.
Yep.
Nook and cranny.
You gotta scrape it, right?
Gotta scrape,
And scrape it.
Gotta scrape it.
There you go.
Huh?
And then as she's putting that in, I'm gonna go ahead and add this. Now this is a red wine, okay? Now other people just use broth, but if you want to elevate your plate and you make it a little bit nicer, give it a sharper taste, use a nice dry red wine. We'll add a couple of cups of that. And then we're gonna go ahead and add our broth. And this is just a regular beef broth. I'm gonna go ahead and add that in. Whoa!
Went overboard.
Mm-hmm. So we got our wine, we got our beef broth, we got all our spices, and we got all our ingredients in there. A little bit more meat. We're gonna go with a little bit more meat. A little bit more meat. We cut up a little bit of meat here. Yeah.
It needs a little more meat.
Yeah.
I don't know about
There you
you
go.
guys, but you need a little more meat.
There you go.
Just a little more.
I think that's good.
Good?
I think that's probably all that can fit in there. You're really crazy on the meat.
Yeah, we really did.
You're gonna rinse it.
Wet. Wet.
We got that going.
Crazy.
And I guess that's it, right, Kayla? I mean, that was the
Yeah.
whole prep for that one.
Basically, yeah.
That took like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So if you're at home, you'll spend a half an hour getting all this stuff together. But once it all comes together, boom, maybe like 15, 20 minutes. You know, we're done. And we're gonna put that in the crock pot. We're gonna put it up about an hour and a half. Turn it on high heat. And usually on the crock pots, right here, it'll tell you what you're cooking. So you can't make a mistake. You just gotta hit meat and stew, and then hit start. You know, and then you'll know how many pounds. I did a dish yesterday, so I cheated a little bit. So I set the time on this. We're gonna close the cap, and then we're gonna jump off. Maybe have a drink, maybe have a little bit of break, and then take a look at the actual the baguette and the bread and stuff like that. And we'll try to get that ready for not only the beef stew, but what else are we doing today?
Alright, so what else are we going to be doing?
We're doing French onion soup.
Right?
Yep. And then we're going to do a traditional French dish, which is the poutine. Right? Yeah,
I
poutine.
actually never had poutine.
She's never had poutine. We talked about this earlier.
I'm part French Canadian and I never had poutine.
How are you part French Canadian? You never had?
I don't know.
You know, they call them French fries, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Why do they call them French fries? Like, the French don't even understand why they call them French fries. But they use gravy and they use cheese on the French fries. Where we use what? Ketchup, right?
Yeah, ketchup.
And we use a ketchup that's made here, right?
Yeah.
We use Heinz.
Heinz.
Yeah. Heinz was made here, the Heinz Convention Center. Oh, that's it, folks. The temperature's up to speed over here on the oven. We got to jump to the other stuff, and let's go.
All right, let's go.
All right, we're gonna make some of our own bread to go with our beef stew. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some butter. The reason why we use butter versus margarine.
Margarine is just not.
It's just not there, right? Like if you put it outside in the winter, margarine, the ants won't even eat it.
No.
Like if the ants don't eat it, they eat everything.
Good.
It's not good. Use butter. Use
butter.
fresh butter.
Come on.
I mean, I know your mom used to use stick butter a long time ago, and you used to the big dish there. Don't do it. Use real butter. We're gonna go ahead and melt this up here. Always try to use a cover if you can. And put that on a minute. So we're gonna melt that, and we're gonna use. We have some fresh garlic as well, but we're gonna use a garlic powder. Garlic powder comes in the hand when you do also, like if you're doing eggplant parmesan or chicken parmesan. You really want the garlic to stick to it. Mm. You don't want it to fall off the chicken, and you don't want that big piece of garlic you know. But we'll take the garlic powder, and I'm gonna have you just pinch that on there. So I'm gonna have you. This is what you call a pinch. When they have the cookbooks, they go, oh, you put a pinch.
Pinch.
So
right?
pinch a garlic powder on each one of those.
You got the tiny hands for it.
Yeah.
Tiny petite hands.
For pinches. She's here for pinches. She's a pincher.
I'm here for pinch.
She's a pincher.
I'm just here for a little pinch, eh? Just a little bit. And a pinch. And this one, a little bit more of those. Even it out here.
That's hot. Don't touch that yet. And we make a mess in the kitchen.
We do.
And if you make a mess in
Especially
the kitchen, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You handle that later. You eat the food first. Eat the food first. Clean up later.
Then worry about the mess later.
Yeah, worry about the mess later. Tell you what, I'm gonna do this, and you can spread it with a knife. Make sure it gets all over there. So I'm gonna pour it, and you can spread it.
All right, good deal.
Ready?
Ready?
And spread that around. Make sure it's all over that bread. And again, be generous.
Be very generous.
Be generous with the butter.
Generous.
Butter's good for you. I don't care what anybody says. And we spell it here.
It may be a carb,
butter.
but it's good.
Buddah. Butter. You butter.
Butter for the pepper.
And you guys are probably wondering what this stuff is. If you haven't used this yet, you'll see a little bit later on.
You will see later.
All right. And then, why don't we take that cheese and you can hit the cheese on there too. Cheese. I love orange zest too.
Right.
This is a great palate cleanser. I don't know if you do that. Usually at the end of a meal.
Just put a little bit of the garlic that we lost here. Good.
Yeah, and then take the cheese and just put a little bit of cheese on each one of these pieces of bread. And you can be as liberal as you want with the cheese. So,
yeah, I like it a little.
Some people like cheese.
I love cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah, I'll take a handful and just go.
Well, that's when you spill the salt. You throw it over the shoulder for good.
No, not that, but like go.
Oh, you just eat cheese.
I ate even the shredded cheese. That's what I do.
Well, I saw her last week when she had the Kayla's queso. Yeah. She was really eating the cheese on that one, you know?
Oh, yeah. I go all out.
Go all out. Why go at life half speed?
Why go?
You know?
Guys.
Makes no sense.
Life's too short.
It's like that guy once said in that rap, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. How to be legit and still pay the rent. I know rap. I don't know. Yeah, so that's a good amount of cheese. And then what you do with this when you want to make this type of a bread is we're gonna go over to the oven and we're gonna hit broil, which is different than convection bake and bake. I'm gonna hit broil, and then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it on the top shelf here and put my light on in the oven just so I can see it. And what that's gonna do is that actually puts that fire on the very top and it goes down and cooks the top of that. I love the LG ovens. I mean, the Pro Bake series is definitely the way to go. I talked about it before. Don't skimp on your oven. Don't skimp on your bed. There's certain things in life you don't skimp on.
See what I mean? Ready?
like Kelly, don't skimp on the cheese.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't skimp on the cheese. So the thing with this stuff is this bread is going to be done in minutes. So it's going to be something that you got to monitor when you're doing that broil section. It's not on an oven heat. I put it on like 325, just heat the cavity up. But then what I did is I hit the broil button there to have that gas on the top sit down. Anyone that says electric stoves are better than gas stoves, you're out of your mind. You cannot control temperatures and heat the way you can with gas. Gas is the best way to cook, hands down. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going on the record with that one. That's just how it is with me. So again, don't skimp on that. Get the good gas stove, get the good quality. It's going to be worth it in the end, you'll see. And that's it for the bread.
That's for the bread.
All right, so let's see where it's at right now, pressure-wise.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's in there. And that's why you have someone stand back.
Like someone like me.
And that I actually wanted to show you. So, Kayla.
Yo.
I'm gonna have.
Yes.
You just grab a towel in that cabinet over there. I'm just gonna get rid of this stuff here.
Oh. What just happened?
We had a blowout. It lost an O-ring.
Yeah.
It was at its apogee and lost its.
It's a good thing you told me to back away a little bit.
Well, the thing is, when you're cooking, you got to be safe, and that's how I was with the thing. We took this. We left a lot of pressure on that pressure cooker, but there was still a ton in there. And the last thing you want to do is panic and jump back from it. You want to just keep your hand on it. You know what I'm saying? Because that pressure really. If you let it pop, it's going to go right to the roof, you know? But I didn't expect that because we let it bleed. We let it bleed for a few minutes. It wasn't that, so it was really a lot of pressure that was under. But that's what makes the beef so good. And we're going to move on from there. We put our Crocs in.
Yeah.
You see the big chunks of beef in there? This is where it comes into play. And you're gonna have a lot of residual, a lot of left over there. There you go. This is our last bowl, the last mix for the protein that we need for the day that we have ahead. And that's gonna be exploring. So that's the last bowl. That's the last bread. And there you have it. Poutine. Look at this. You wanna slow motion something? Watch this.
Look at that. Guys, look at that. Oh my God.
Cheese bowl.
You can see the cheese.
The cheese. So the cheese, the bread, and you can see where the bread isn't falling apart. It's still thick.
It
was quite an explosive day. Yeah.
Figuratively and literally, yeah.
Figuratively and literally. I like that. So we're all good people.
All good.
Everybody, no one was harmed in the making of this beef stew.
Luckily.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
that's why you have someone stand back.
Like someone like me.
That I actually wanted to show you. Look at this.
Oh my god.
Look at this.
The bomb went off.
Look at this. This is a mess. This is a mess. That's why you let the pressure out of the pressure cooker, okay?
Okay, well, there goes that. Is there some in there?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Oh yeah.
the thing is I packed it too much. Yeah. We're gonna need a broom, we're gonna need a mop, we're gonna need
everything.
yeah.
You need to fill up everything.
This went everywhere. But it's cookware.
Here, there, and everywhere. Meanwhile, I'm sitting.
Look. Hey, see you guys didn't get back?
Yeah.
I was like, I know what I was gonna do. Alright, so